Hey, good evening, Talkin' Fight fans around the world. Here we are, the Neil the Deal Show. And yeah, you got me, Neil the Deal. I'm going to be running solo tonight. So let's get right into her and we'll let you know what we're up to. All week we've been talking about United States fighters that I'm looking at having some title fights this year. And this guy is no objective. He's definitely gonna be in the mix with a title fight coming up. Definitely 101%. So tonight, guys, we're gonna be talking about Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder. His full name is Deontay Leshun Wilder. He was born October 22nd, 1985. That makes him 35 years old. So he's quite an old fighter at 35 years old. But man, he really packs a punch. If you guys have seen any of his fights, he is a knockout artist beyond knockout artist. I haven't seen a heavyweight that's got that kind of knockout power since probably Mike Tyson. So we'll go over a bunch of stuff. He was born in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and he fights in the heavyweight division. Now he's the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, holding the title from 2015 to 2020, and he made 10 consecutive title defenses along that route, of which I watched many of them. And man, this guy's got a lot of power. He's right up there in the top 2-3 guys. Right now, he's presently ranked second best active heavyweight in the world, behind Tyson Fury. So, and we all know that he just had a two-fight. Well, he had the one fight in 2020 and one in 2018 against Fury. So we'll talk about that a little later on. Wilder, like I say, he has great punching power. He knocked out every single one of his opponents that he's defeated. So he's knocked out everybody. This guy basically, if he doesn't knock you out, then you're lucky. That's what I got to tell you. So he's one of those heavyweights that can literally knock you out at any moment. He's got power in both hands, and he's a very skilled fighter for the size that he is. He's like 6'7", so he's a really big guy. Although he only comes in usually around 215, 220 pounds. Some of these other heavyweights are coming in at 240, 50, 60, and as we know, Fury, man, he's like around 250, 260, 270, 280. So he's a little bit undersized in the weight category against some of the guys that are coming up. But again, he had 10 title defenses, so you can't say much about that. He's also a 3-time winner of the Premier Boxing Champions Knockout of the Year award. So he won the Knockout of the Year award in 2016, 2017, and 2019. And Ring Magazine gave him the KO of the Year in 2019. So, like I said, he's got power beyond power. It's unbelievable the amount of torque he gets when he winds up and hits you. Because if he winds up and hits you, most guys do not get up. Well, he had a pretty good amateur career. The interesting part about him, though, was he started his boxing career really late. He started when he was about 20 years old. So he started his amateur career at around 20, which not too many guys start their boxing careers at 20 years old and have such success over a 15-year span. So let's go over his amateur totals. 35 fights. As an amateur, he won 30 and he had 5 losses, which is a good amateur total. He did have some really good wins, some awards that he won. In 2007, he won the Golden Gloves gold medal. 2007, he also won the gold medal at the U.S. National Championships, Amateur Championships. And in 2008, making the U.S. Olympic boxing team, he won a bronze medal at the Beijing Games 2008. So he is an Olympic medalist. And well deserved. I remember watching him. That's pretty much when I first saw him, was in the Olympics, and he performed amazingly. And since then, he's just been getting better and better. So we'll talk a little bit about his pro career now. Pro totals: he's had 44 fights, guys, and of the 44 fights, he has 42 wins. He has 1 loss and 1 draw. But the thing about the 42 wins is he has 41 knockouts. Like 41 knockouts out of 42 wins. It's a 93% knockout percentage. So anytime you're going to see him, you're going to see some really nice boxing skill and some serious punching power for a guy his size. So he turned pro in 2008 at the age of 20. And in 2009, he had 7 first-round KOs. And by 2012, he had a 25-fight winning streak. So he's just basically been steamrolling all his opponents from day one. He won his first professional title in 2012, capturing the WBC Continental Americas heavyweight title. And in January 2015, he fought the WBC champion at the time, Bermane Stivere, for the title, winning the title, becoming the first U.S.-born heavyweight champion since 2004, and that was Hasim Rahman. So there hadn't been a U.S. Heavyweight title holder for quite some time until he beat Stiverne. And Stiverne is actually a Haitian Canadian guy. I've seen him fight a bunch of times, and he's a really good fighter too. So there was, winning that title there off him was one of his highlights for sure, being the first title that he ever won. So December 2015, he was to fight a Polish fighter named Artur Spakita. This guy, I was keeping my eye on him at the time. He was 20-1, and that fight was voted knockout of the year in 2015. So if you guys want to go check that out, Artur Spakita of Poland, 2015 knockout fight of the year. In July 2016, he had a KO win over former champion Chris Arreola. Now, Chris Arreola is going to be having an upcoming fight against Andy Ruiz Jr. And but at that time, Wilder was injured in the fight. He broke his hand and did some damage to his bicep, which required multiple surgeries. And then he was shelved for the rest of 2016. So we didn't see him there for a little bit. So he came out back in 2017, and he was ordered to fight Stiverne again, and he KO'd him in the first round, knocked him right out. And Stiverne did not even land one punch in the fight. He threw 4 punches, and he didn't even land a punch, and he was knocked out. I believe it was with 1 second left in the first round. So that was a heck of a knockout by Deontay Wilder. It was just amazing. So in March 2018, Wilder fought Luis Ortiz. He's a Cuban heavyweight, big-time guy. And again, he's a very, very tough opponent. And hurt him. He was hurt in that fight. Wilder was hurt. Ortiz hurt him, but he came back. And in the 10th round, he ended up knocking him out. And then came Tyson Fury in December 2018. Wilder fought Tyson Fury, the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, the first time in a 12-round split decision draw, which was kind of controversial at the time when I watched it. I kind of thought that Fury might have won the fight, but a lot of boxing experts too had thought that Fury had won the fight. Although Wilder had knocked Fury down twice in that fight. But Fury just basically I believe he outfought him in that fight. He definitely had the punch count, was way up, and but it ended up being a draw. So that's what created the rematch, and we'll just go over that in a bit. So after the Fury fight, he had a couple of wins against a guy named Dominic Breazeale, and winning a rematch. He had another rematch with Luis Ortiz, but he beat him again, the Haitian heavyweight champion. So late in 2019, it was announced that Wilder was going to fight Tyson Fury in a rematch, where Wilder had lost the title in the rematch in the 7th round by TKO. And that fight you guys might want to watch. It's the only defeat that he's ever had. He really did look defeated, actually. The first time I've ever seen him look a little bit down in a fight. But Tyson Fury had a really good game plan against him in the rematch, and man, that was a really good fight. So if you guys want to watch that, it'd be great fight to watch. He's now looking to regain the belts. Obviously, he's been trying for years to get a fight with Anthony Joshua. It's been on the table a couple times, but it's not on the table right now. Looks like Joshua is going to be fighting Fury. So the winner of that, maybe he can fight the winner of Fury or Joshua. He was also talking about, there's some talk that he might be fighting a British heavyweight WBC interim heavyweight champion, guy named Dylan White. Dylan White is an excellent, excellent fighter. He recently, actually last weekend, was fighting a Russian heavyweight named Alexander Povetkin, and he beat Povetkin last Saturday night, winning that interim heavyweight title. So there's some rumbling that maybe his next opponent could be Mr. White, and I think that would be an amazing fight in itself. So that was actually an avenging thing because he had a loss to Povetkin. He had fought Povetkin before, and it didn't go so well. So the fight against Dylan doesn't happen. There is also other guys that he could fight. The Andy Ruiz Jr., Chris Arreola fight. Maybe the winner of that, he could fight Andy Ruiz Jr. And another potential guy that I've been looking into might be a New Zealand heavyweight fighter named Joseph Parker. He's a former WBO heavyweight champion, and looks like he might get in the mix too. So there's a lot of fights for him that he could have coming up in the end of this year. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, the winner of all these other fights, and see who they end up deciding to put him up against. He's looking for big fights, big paydays. He's definitely in the mix for sure. He's in the top 5, no doubt about it. And we'll just have to see what happens in 2021 for Deontay Wilder. I hope the best for him. I love to see him fight again. And like I say, if you guys want to check out some of his fights, check out the 2 Tyson Fury fights. He did fight Luis Ortiz twice, so check those out. And he's definitely he's basically fought everybody that he can fight up to date, and he's won every one of them except for the Tyson Fury fight. So let's hope this year we see him again. Thanks a lot for coming out tonight, guys. Have yourselves a nice weekend. It is Friday, Good Friday. Have yourselves a happy Good Friday. We'll see you Monday, 7 p.m. Thanks a lot for the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, all that jazz. Really appreciate it. Everything's been going great. So have yourselves a nice weekend. Take care. We'll talk to you on Monday.